Pop Culture Pastor.
All right, welcome back to the show. Cody, are you aware of what an EGOT is? Do you know what an EGOT is? If I said so-and-so has an EGOT, do you know what I'm talking about?
Is it a bird?
No, man. Are you seriously have never heard this term?
You tell me.
Okay. There are certain people who have an EGOT, okay? Rita Moreno, Audrey Hepburn, Mel Brooks, Whoopi Goldberg has a EGOT. Andrew Lloyd Webber, John Legend, and Jennifer Hudson, some of the most recent EGOT.
Oh, no,
winners.
I know what EGOTs are. Okay.
People who have won an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, and a Tony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking egret.
No, not an egret, an EGOT.
An egret is a bird.
Yes.
And so, nailed it.
Right. And anyways, if you follow this sort of pop culture thing.
I typically don't.
No, most people don't. But some people do. It's like, well, in a way, it's the people that have an EGOT, you're recognizing like this top form of creativity in the entertainment industry, really.
I would not have thought the Whoopi Goldberg would have made the list.
But yeah.
Boom.
But she's very talented. I mean, the Color
Sister
Purple
Act.
alone, right?
And yeah, Color Purple.
Color Purple's been a successful movie and a Broadway play.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, it makes sense. And Whoopi's more talented than a lot of people remember. Because, you know, for young people, she's like the lady on The View. But for us, she was like in The Color Purple. She was in Ghost.
Jumping Jack Flash.
Yeah, she was amazing. Sister Act.
Yeah, all the sisters.
Very talented person. So, yeah, the EGOT is kind of what makes it's sort of the precipice, the pinnacle of the entertainment industry. If you've got that, those names like are above all the others.
I would
in
move
the entertainment industry.
If I was the people that have won all these awards, I'd move the E to the end and just be GOAT.
That's a good idea. So I bring up the EGOT, Cody, because when you're into recognizing the top people in the entertainment field, you're always on the lookout for the next EGOT winner. I assume. I don't know that for real. I don't know if there's anyone out there who's keeping track, but someone must be keeping track because I read a headline from Deadline.
Okay.
Recognizing a possible someone has joined the ranks of the almost EGOT winners. Someone has 3 of the 4. This is going to blow your mind.
So I assume they just won an Emmy.
This is going to blow your mind. They did. They just won an Emmy for being in the halftime show at the Super Bowl. They were one of the members of the halftime show at the Super Bowl, which won an Emmy for, you know, best live performance on television or something like that.
How are we not getting an Emmy?
That's a good question. Someone needs to use the podcast, I guess, on some sort of medium.
Please and thank you.
That would place us in the running for an Emmy.
I feel that there's so many categories that we surely qualify for like 7 of them.
You know, when you win the EGOT in 15 years from now, Cody, they'll play this clip.
They will.
As just like a memory, and it'll be very nostalgic. And then you'll be like, you won't be Cody, sidekick Cody anymore. You'll be Cody, EGOT winner. Get out of my way. I'm Cody.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you get a little pin you wear on your little lapel pin.
Put it on my sports jacket.
EGOT. That's what it'll be. Anyways, Cody, we'll let you know when Cody wins his first one of the 4 and gets on that track. But this guy has 3 of the 4 now. He's very close. And that guy is the rapper Eminem.
Okay, so I was trying to discern between, is it Eminem, is it 50, or is it Dre? Because I didn't have Snoop Dogg on that list.
Fitty still looking for that very rare Oscar win. Although, you know, some of his movies have been Chef's Kiss. No, he's still looking for that. But Eminem, with the Emmy win, is only 1 award shy from the EGOT. He had previously won an Academy Award in 2003 for Best Original Song for Lose Yourself from 8 Mile. which was very deserving. Between the years of 2000 and 2019, Eminem has received 15 Grammy Awards in numerous categories. And now he has the Emmy for the Super Bowl halftime performance. There's only one left.
Let's put him in Wicked.
How do we work him into Broadway musical? We need a rap inserted into Wicked or, into like Hamilton.
If they actually produced that Marvel musical that was in Falcon and Winter Soldier, you can have him there whenever they bring up the Punisher or Venom. I don't know.
Eminem as Ben Franklin in a new version of Hamilton with new rap written by no. Eminem would still write it.
Oh yeah.
Lin-Manuel would just sanitize it. Although Eminem recently did a whole rap on DJ Khaled's album about Jesus with no cursing in it. It was the only song on the album without cursing. It was the one with Eminem.
It might be the only song that he has ever done without cursing. I don't know.
I think if I'm reading the prosperity gospel right, if he comes the full way over, if he really commits his life to Jesus, then he'll just win a Tony.
That's how it happens.
As it says in the Bible, if you commit yourself to Jesus, we will exalt you on earth. It doesn't say that.
Name it and claim it.
I think you used that in the right context. Okay, welcome back to the show. Cody, are you aware of the YouTube channel Dude Perfect?
Yes, unfortunately.
What do you mean, unfortunately? What's your problem with Dude Perfect?
Early on, it was good. But now, they've made the cool trick shots kind of mundane. And
yeah.
Somehow they have their own, broadcast for Thursday Night Football, and that makes zero sense to me.
Because they do trick shots.
That has nothing to do with football.
It is weird to see how big they've become culturally.
Yeah.
Because, well, first of all, let's talk about Dude Perfect. They're basically got big on YouTube by doing trick shots. They just were a bunch of dudes who just sat around trying to make weird, awesome trick shots and basketball goals and whatnot.
Yeah.
Just things. And they would sit around and probably attempt them a million times, videotape it, and then wait for them actually to hit one. And then they put it on their channel. But they got huge. My kids love Dude Perfect. And I know a lot of kids that love Dude Perfect. And as far as YouTube channels go, they're wholesome.
I was in on the ground floor of Dude Perfect.
Were you?
Many moons ago.
You're naming and claiming Dude Perfect originality.
Yes.
Original fan.
And now, get those old geezers off my screen.
Cody changes with the wind. But you admit that they're positive. They're a positive force.
Yeah, I'll go with it.
Okay. So here's the story. Yesterday, they came out with a tweet. A lot of people thought maybe it was a joke. But they revealed plans. It's not a joke, by the way. This is a real thing. They revealed plans for a new headquarters and family-friendly entertainment destination.
Okay.
Like a Dude Perfect place. The building will feature a 330-foot trick shot tower, a Dude Perfect museum. I don't know, my voice went up high because I was looking at you for some sort of confirmation. That's a thing?
Well, they do trick shots off water towers and a whole bunch of other things.
So a 330-foot trick shot tower, a Dude Perfect museum.
Because, yeah, why not?
That's me not understanding the history because I'm like, what's going to be in there? They've probably only been around since, YouTube. So
here's a basketball we made this shot with.
So we made this shot off the wall in the United Center.
Here is a camera that we used to use.
They're going to have putt-putt, like a mini golf course,
okay.
Merch stores, restaurants, and outdoor spaces. 2 acres of outdoor spaces where you can just fool around and practice your trick shots, merch stores. It's going to be like a resort type place. to be surrounded by all things dude perfect?
I don't think I need it.
You don't think you need it?
I have a public park.
Okay, yeah, well, okay.
I can do most
Let's
of
be
this.
fair. You're not their target audience anymore.
The only thing I'm intrigued by is the putt-putt.
Because I'll be real honest too. It's not like I've got to go there. My kids, on the other hand,
This is a money grab. That's what the kids like to call it these days. Like you're cashing in on, okay, we have achieved probably the highest amount of fame and notoriety we can.
well, ladies and gentlemen, you're here for a special occasion because Contrarian Cody has showed up. Contrarian Cody has showed up to bring Dude Perfect to its knees. And you weren't alone, my friend.
Oh, I'm glad.
You weren't alone. There were some Christian outlets that decided they were going to enter in this conversation.
Oh, I don't like this.
So when we come back, we'll talk about Dude Perfect's proposed thing here. All right, welcome back. So Dude Perfect, they are planning this. I mean, I don't even know what to call this. This facility. It's a facility.
This interactive experience.
Yeah, they have 58 million followers on YouTube, by the way.
Holy cannoli.
Where they that is the proper response to that. Where they perfect trick shots, pull off impressive stunts, collaborates with some of the biggest names in sports. As we mentioned, they're actually affiliated into the broadcast of Thursday night NFL football on Prime. They've broken 14 Guinness World Records, including slicing the most citrus fruit in 30 seconds. If you need it, and you don't.
Evidently, they have not seen me do Fruit Ninja.
One of their other Guinness Book World Records, the longest basketball shot made with one's head. Most balloons burst simultaneously by arrows. And somehow they have many more Guinness records, which I'm not going to sit here.
Please don't.
Okay, but here's the deal. Let me show you a picture of what this looks like, because I think you need to see this. Here's a artist rendering of the ginormous resort building thing complex. It's
with the 330-foot tower.
Yeah, with the 330-foot tower. It also will cost somewhere in the neighborhood of $100 million, a $100 million entertainment facility. Now, people had thoughts, as you just shared. Share your thought again, like.
Okay, so I said this was a cash grab.
Okay.
They are at their peak of notoriety, and that you create this place where I assume there's probably a fee to go in and attempt these trick shots. There's merch, which every kid will be like, oh, I want some Dude Perfect gear, swag, if you will. And then if there's restaurants and stuff, you're going to make some more money. And yeah, it's a cash grab. Although $100 million investment, they're going all in on it.
Yeah. $100 million. Yeah. I don't know how much they're worth. I'm assuming it's a lot more than $100 million though.
Well, when you have Papa Jeff Bezos backing you.
Mm. So here's the issue. People had thoughts. Relevant Magazine, which is a Christian entertainment outlet or news outlet. I don't know how you want to call them, because they're not about news, that's for sure.
And I would rarely put Christian in front of it.
Mostly they have an article here that's kind of describing what Dude Perfect has announced, but they drop in this one line. It's very subtle.
Oh.
It says this: according to the Dude Perfect website, the dudes are all about giving back, spreading joy, and glorifying Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Here's the line. While we're not entirely sure how spending an estimated $100 million on a building to make trick shots for Jesus works, but there are objectively worse things you can spend your money on. Okay, so like,
I'm on the side of relevant.
you are on the side of relevant, and I'm not.
I don't like it. I don't like being on this side.
I don't think you necessarily. It's a fair question at the very least, right?
Yeah, and especially so. The thing with America is, how many stadiums do we have? I mean, that's an honest question. Legitimate question. How many stadiums, sports complexes do we have? It's never ending. They get more and more expensive. when is it just too much?
Yeah.
Like,
But is it fair that it falls on Dude Perfect? Are
yeah,
we going to draw the line and say, Dude Perfect, stop it?
I'm not going to cast my shade on Dude Perfect for this aspect of it. Now, for them doing a cash grab, yeah, I'm going to cast all the shade at Dude Perfect because it's a cash grab.
I think it's fair.
Within our culture, oh man, are we that starved for just something to do and waste our money on that?
Have you ever met my kids? Take us to the Dude Perfect place.
Literally.
You're going to totally want to go there. Listen, you weren't alone, but many people weren't ready to draw the line. And they're ready to go after Dude Perfect. So these are just some, I'm going to share with you some comments that were written by alleged Christians on a Christian outlet reporting of this. Where's the cognitive dissonance in a group of Christian guys spending $100 million on a theme park when so many have so little? We are known for such ridiculous, hateful rhetoric these days that I can't believe I'm saying this. I welcome this refreshingly non-negative expression of faith. Okay, so there were some people who were like, hey, these guys are positive, whatever.
I'll give you that. They do keep it clean and nice, family friendly.
Here's a quote, another comment. I'm not here to hate on them, but this isn't exactly something I personally would have had on my top five things of giving back, spreading joy, and glorifying Jesus Christ if I was them. So, I mean, I'm not here to hate on them, but I kind of am.
Backhand.
This is a comment. This is straight out of Righteous Gemstones. Oh, come on. That's not fair. Righteous Gemstones is a TV show based on like mega preachers, and they're awful. Like they're the worst. They're the worst. And comparing them to that show is, come on, that's not right.
It's a little rude.
Six Flags over Jesus. That was a comment.
So I would have bigger issue with it, I guess, if this was like a not-for-profit. If you had told me a church was doing this.
Let's save it. Let's save that because that's where I'm going to go.
Okay.
Let me get through a few more of the comments. Throwing basketballs into a hoop from 400 feet away to praise Jesus. Okay.
I've seen worse ways.
I really like these guys and their content's always cool, but it's the idea that, hey, we've been blessed, so let's build $1 million entertainment facility and most likely charge people to enter that I'm having a problem with. Someone says, I didn't even know they were Christian.
That was me.
This person says mega churches are now entering their next stage of evolution. I don't think that's fair. I'll talk about that in a little bit. I'll take things that make Jesus cry for $100 million, Alex. I don't think that's fair. But let's take a break.
That was a witty one.
Yeah, it was.
I'll
it was
give
witty.
him that.
But let's take a break, and I'll come back and I'll kind of give you my thoughts on it.
Okay.
Okay. Dude Perfect, YouTube mega millionaires are building a Dude Perfect getaway. What would we call this? An attraction, something people will want to come to. A huge like resort building.
A resort, amusement park.
Yeah.
Everything under the sun.
It's going to cost them $100 million. And people had thoughts. And while I do think up to a certain point, we can talk about this, but I don't think we can single out. Here's where I think where you're right, Cody, where you're like, okay, this seems like a cash grab. And to some extent it is. I will agree with that. And I'm ready to open the door of criticism to that, but only on a societal level, which is to say, hey, yeah, like why are we so interested in the cash grabs of monumental proportions, right?
So like I even had issue with Bruce Springsteen recently sold his catalog. And it was, I don't even remember how many hundreds of millions of dollars.
45. I read the article. 45 million.
45 mil. Bruce, how much money do you need?
Right. Yeah.
Like if you hold on to your catalog and like I think like 1 or 2 generations can keep it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if your music goes the way of the Beatles, your relatives will be making bigger bank.
Well, he must think that if he invests that money now, he can do better for his kids, right?
I presume. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyways.
No, like I will call people out for cash grabs if I perceive it as being a cash grab.
Okay. And that's fair. Here's the problem I have with a lot of the comments and even Relevant's subtle jab. Relevant Magazine had a subtle jab. Well, I don't know what this has to do with glorifying Jesus. A lot of the comments were on like, oh, Jesus wouldn't like this. Oh, this is the way Christian churches go now. Here's the problem with that line of thinking. This isn't a church that people tithed to.
No.
They didn't get tithed their money. They're not a charity. They're not a ministry that people gave money to for a certain end. They literally made their money on a YouTube channel about trick shots.
They're just dudes.
They're just dudes. And they happen to be Christians, but they made their money outside of a Christian atmosphere. And so, like, on one level, I'm like, hey, you don't get to tell them when and where and how it's right for them to spend their money. They earned it.
I don't do that to you two, because Bono and Edge are definitely Christian.
Those guys are Christians. Is anyone talking about the 20 houses Bono surely owns?
The private jet he flies in.
No one's saying anything because we also know Bono is an activist, that he gives his time.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. We know that about Bono. How do you not know that Dude Perfects aren't showing up to like children's hospitals?
Actually, I think I have seen a few stories of them doing that. So
So like when you get to a certain place money wise, like the money builds on itself. So like to me that they're building this thing makes sense to me. And yeah, it's a cash grab, but that's what Americans do. You let your money go to work for you and keep building money. And probably if I had to guess, and like I'm not inside the head of the Dude Perfect guys, but I assume they're family men. They all have kids. And that this is probably something to say, hey, let's invest our money in this so our kids don't have to worry about money.
Yeah.
And their kids.
Eventually.
Because YouTube money will eventually stop.
YouTube money will eventually stop. People get bored with trick shots. I mean, I got there quicker than evidently everyone else.
Yeah, I've watched like 2 Dude Perfect videos. I was mildly entertained, but I don't feel the need to watch anymore. Because, yeah, you've seen it once, you've seen all of them.
This is kind of the next evolution of what they can do. Then they just become a brand, and people will just say, oh, Dude Perfect, and think a whole bunch of different things now, not just trick shot dudes.
Yeah. I understand the reaction, but sometimes after we react, we should go back and examine our reaction and check our own hearts, in a way, because I understand the reaction to it because I don't have $100 million. If I had $100 million, I wouldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's easy to say that too, but we're not in that situation. And when I get right down to it, I'm not a Dude Perfect fan, but my kids are. And I appreciate that they put out a positive, explicative, free brand of entertainment for my kids that I know is safe for them to watch. And they're positive, like they're teaching good lessons, life lessons.
Like you said, examine what your underlying motivations are for that reaction.
Yeah.
Being mindful of why it is you think the way that goes. I mean, if someone told me they were building $100 million facility, I would say, why are you doing this? And it wouldn't matter if they were Christian, 100 different religions, or an atheist. To me, it seems like a waste of money.
Yeah.
Or if, like in this case, it really sounds like a full-fledged amusement park type atmosphere without the rides. It then becomes a cash grab.
Okay,
and then Cody calls out cash grabs.
Let's say this. The owner of Chick-fil-A, Dan Cathy.
Yeah.
He's a rich dude.
He is.
However, going into a Chick-fil-A is a very pleasant experience.
Delightful.
The employees are happy to be there, and that comes out. They treat you with respect and kindness, everyone that comes in there. In fact, it's like a running joke on the internet. It's like, they're all like, have a blessed day. My pleasure. It's like a running joke that they're so kind.
Oh, yeah.
And so if the Dude Perfect amusement park, whatever, turns into this kind of place where that positivity trickles down to their employees and this becomes a positive, kind place in the world that people can go and their kids see this positivity and kindness, then you know what? I think I'm okay with it. And I think I'm okay with them making money off that.
Yeah.
Because the majority of ways people make money in this world aren't so positive.
And I will say that I am good with reviewing my criticism during and after. Like, I'll go back and I'll be like, I was wrong. Or,
Yeah, no, I don't think you're wrong.
or there's something here. Or I was 100% right, jabronis.
I think we're pastors, so it's hard for us. Because if we had $100 million, things would go a lot differently.
Oh, yeah.
Right? We probably wouldn't have $100 million for very long.
No, it would
That's the gist of it.
go quickly.
But I am also not a YouTube entrepreneur. I didn't have an idea to do what they did.
Oh, no.
So they're just doing what they know how to do, which, you know what, is fine. Because again, they're not the church. We run into this all the time on the radio, like with Christian artists and expecting them to do things a church would do. It's like, no. The Christian is not the church by themselves. They still operate in a society that's capitalistic and they're still working. This is their form of work. Okay. So they should get paid what the market says they should get paid.
All the money.
Yeah. So I can't, it's hard to separate that sometimes. At the end of the day, I wouldn't open a $100 million facility, but Dude Perfect would. And I'm probably not in a position to complain.
Yeah. My beef was more with them just opening a facility in general. And then you threw in the price tag, and then you threw in their faith background, and then it kind of muddies the water a little bit. But when you're able to set things off to the side and see what is really behind it, then
well, thank you for coming on the program, Contrarian Cody. And it's always nice to have you. No, I'm just messing with you. All right, welcome back. We are live, Pop Culture Pastor Radio Show. Cody, I was perusing Twitter over the weekend.
As one does.
And I follow a lot of sports things, and I come across these videos that are starting to pop up of what appears to be a fishing tournament.
Yeah, those are a thing.
Oh, yeah, I was aware of professional fishing. And in fact, one of my favorite video games growing up was called Bassin's Black Bass on the Super Nintendo. Let me tell you something. I fished like one time in my life. Not a fan, but Bassin's Black Bass on the Super Nintendo, I'm a fan.
I've had some hunting and fishing games on various consoles.
Yeah.
They're fun.
I'm not unaware of the professional fishing world and how it works. Now, the game was very much like a professional fishing game. So you would enter into tournaments, you'd motor your little video game boat around the lake, and it was all where you placed was based on how heavy the total poundage of the fish you caught were.
Yes.
So I'm not unfamiliar with how professional fishing works. Now, these videos start popping up on my Twitter feed, and it appears that what's happening is that at the weighing, they're cutting into these fish and they're taking out these weights.
Big weights.
Big, like weights. They're dropping in a bucket and people are going nuts, like in the background. Like it's not a safe video to watch language-wise. Lots of foul language.
I was too young.
Loud noises. There was lots of loud noises going on. And apparently what I was watching and what I'm looking at as far as the news goes is a cheating scandal in a professional sporting world that is maybe unequaled.
This has ruined the holiness and sanctity of professional fishing.
You overplayed it a little bit. This is from CNN or NPR. It says months of suspicion erupted into full-throated fury at a professional fishing tournament in Ohio, where two anglers were allegedly caught with egg-shaped weights in their catch, an edge of more than 7 pounds that would have ensured a lucrative championship. Now, lucrative is the operative term here because we're talking about a lot of money, and there's going to be some serious federal charges going on.
Oh,
here.
yeah.
Apparently, the cheaters in the 2021 season, these dudes in question won more than $300,000.
Whoo!
Jake Runyon and Chase Kaminsky caught cheating in this walleye fishing tournament. This is big money, and it was hard not to feel the gravity of it because the dude was there. One of the dudes in question was there, and they're cutting these fish open and taking these weights out in front of him, and he's just got his head down. He's not saying anything. Meanwhile, everyone's yelling at him. Everyone around him are like, how dare you? It was the ultimate good person trap. How dare you, sir? Like, you could see the righteousness around them. And like, that's a whole different subject. But Oh my.
I knew you were cheating the whole time.
Well, like him never being able to professionally fish again is like the least of his concerns. Because this has, serious repercussions attached to it.
Don't be a con man.
Don't cheat at fishing because they'll catch you, apparently. So the video is all coming from this guy named Jason Fisher, who cuts open one of the 5 fish submitted by these 2 gentlemen who have been caught cheating, apparently, Jake Runyon and Chase Kaminsky, professional fishers who had defied poor conditions to dominate this tournament at Cleveland's Gordon Park. But in this dramatic turn of events, Runyon, who was on camera, I told you, he goes from grinning at his victory to staring stone-faced at the evidence of his cheating as it plays out in front of a chorus of fishermen whose grumbles of doubt and frustration transformed into shouts of outrage and profanity. That comes from NPR. Apparently, it's not. So there was some suspicion. These guys maybe had been in some hot water before. It's not the first controversy for them. They were disqualified from a big tournament last year after one of the anglers failed a polygraph test. Now, hold on. Wait a minute. Wouldn't it have been easier to just cut into their fish at that tournament? Like, I don't understand why they had to cut into their fish to reveal the weights.
A polygraph test?
Yeah, they just...
Who has access to this?
I thought polygraphs weren't even admissible in court, but they're admissible in the professional fishing leagues. I'll tell you that.
It goes beyond the movie Big Lebowski when they're like, over the line, and then like pull out weaponry. Like, this is intense.
So to win this fishing, this was a walleye contest. Fishers must bring in their heaviest catch of 5 fish, and there's a side pot of money available to the biggest fish in the tournament that's caught. The competition is fierce. There's at least 72-person teams. They've paid $400 each to enter the tournament. So paying $400 and winning $300,000, that's a huge, like, you can see why maybe someone might be tempted to cheat. There was bad weather. It limited the tournament to 1 day. And Runyon and Kaminsky's biggest walleye came in at 7.9 pounds. Now, here's where I get lost a little bit, because apparently in that lake, that's a shocking result, because most of the fish in Lake Erie of this kind are standard 4 to 5 pounds.
Yeah.
So catching a fish that big would be miraculous. And Fisher, the guy who cut into the fish, said, no way. He recalls thinking, no way. Then the weigh-in came. They needed to top 28 pounds to take first place. An electric scale measures their catch at 33.9 pounds.
Holy cow.
And the tournament director isn't the only one with doubts. A large number of people in the background are being like, you can hear them being like, yeah, right, whatever. Like, they're grumbling. And so he announces them as the winners to a smattering of applause. But he also asked them to stick around to take photos with the fish. Then he asked to inspect the fish, and the team balks at it initially. They ask, are you serious? Listen, if you're guilty, this is like the textbook way not to respond.
Yeah.
This is wild.
/ I'm kind of surprised they don't do something like that anyway.
Yeah, well,
I know some of these tournaments that they try to do catch and release, but the fish that you keep that are the big ones, and especially multiple day tournaments, they're going to be dead.
Yeah.
So cut them open.
Well, and for $300,000, it seems like a lot of money. And doing a little back study on this is not like the first time where cheating in the sport of fishing has been alleged or encountered.
What?
And it's oh, you mean a bunch of guys who are spending a bunch of time on boats fishing and drinking Schlitz might not balk at the idea of cheating for money? And big money?
This was the last bastion of clean professional sports. And it's out the window.
Oh, we just can't have nice things.
We can't.
Hey everybody, Dave here. Thank you so much for listening to this pod. This, of course, is The Radio Leftovers pod, it's just bits and pieces of our radio show that appears on KFEX 93.1 Firescape Radio. That's in Chanute, Kansas. If you're outside of the area, you can listen anywhere you want from www.kfex931.com, or you can download the KFEX app on any of your smartphone app stores. So you can check that out. It is a Christian music station, but they play a lot of indies and such, so it's not your normal Christian music station. Check that out if that's what you're into. And of course, every Friday morning, our main podcast episodes come out. That's where it's a bit longer form and we talk about a certain subject or two or maybe three and have different things we do on that pod. We thank each and every one of you for listening. We love that you're a community. We love that you get to hang out with us and you like to be a part of the discussion. If you want to be a part of the discussion, make sure and follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and make sure and subscribe and rate the podcast. That helps us out as well. Thank you so much. We'll see you on Friday.